Good evening. I, Prajakta Adhikari, on behalf of the Institute of Environmental Architecture and Research, warmly welcomes all our participants and our speakers for today. The Institute, which is a Mumbai-based educational, research and training institute with a vision to create a sustainable environment through scientific research, education and training, socio-cultural understanding, community engagement and awareness. We are a multidisciplinary group of scientists, professionals, and academicians who have joined forces to form this organization, having worked collaboratively for more than 15 years on education, environment consultancy, and awareness. Our mission is Environment First. This is the 10th webinar in the series which we started during the lockdown period. So far, we have reached out to more than 1500 participants altogether. Our main objective in this webinar series is to provide educational and research inputs, and a scientific and analytical approach to environmental issues. We would also want to apologize for shifting our indoor air quality webinar series by a week due to some technical issues. The details for the same will be shared by the end of this session, so stay tuned. The Institute's Foundation Day falls on 14th of August 2019 and it was registered as a public trust on 19th of October 2019. Hence, we are excited and happy to celebrate the Institute's first Public Trust Day on 17th of October 2020 with all of you. More updates on the same will follow soon in our upcoming webinars and on mails too. I would now welcome our moderator, Dr. Roshni Yehuda, President of IEAR, to introduce our today's speakers.
Thank you, Prajakta. Good evening and a warm welcome to our esteemed speakers and participants to this webinar on low carbon farming. The beginning of agriculture was a point of transition for human beings. Around 10,000 years ago, from hunter-gatherers, we became settlers and the first villages emerged. And as we improved our understanding of the land and crops, especially rice, wheat, we slowly began the transformation of the land. As of 2016, the World Bank data is showing us that approximately 48 million square kilometers of land is under agriculture. India has the second largest arable land of about 1.6 million square kilometers. We also know that this share of agricultural land is increasing all over the world to feed and to meet the demands of the growing human population, as more forest is being burnt or destroyed to give way for cash crop farming in places like the Amazon basin. Furthermore, conventional agriculture is energy intensive. The machinery which primarily works or uses fossil fuels such as diesel, or also the use of fossil fuel-based pesticides and fertilizers, as well as the energy-intensive methods of pumping groundwater, are not only releasing greenhouse gases, but also causing some permanent damage to the soil, water ecosystems, and the biodiversity. Greenhouse gases emissions related to agriculture totaled about 582 million metric tons in carbon dioxide equivalents in 2017. And that includes the emissions from land use changes, and the destruction of forests. When measured using the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and international standard, agriculture's contribution to greenhouse gases totals about 9%. Our speakers of today have pioneered or are following techniques to lower the carbon emissions intensity of farming. And it is our pleasure to have them today. I hope that we will have a very interesting discussion around the various models that they have worked on or they are working on, and influencing a large number of people in different parts of India. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you both the speakers of today. Mr. Shekhar Badsavle is founder and managing trustee of Saguna Rural Foundation, a social welfare public trust set up to promote and support rural India through research and implementation of innovative farming and forest practices. He practices aquaculture, agroforestry, field crops, cattle barns at his 55-acre land in Neral. He has completed his bachelor's degree in agriculture science from Konkan Krishi Vidyapeeth, Dapoli, and his master's in food technology from the University of California, Davis in 1972. He has pioneered, as many of you know, the Saguna rice technique, or SRT, which is a zero-till conservation agriculture technique for rice farming, and was also chief promoter from June 2015 to 16 on PPP IAD program of the government of Maharashtra to promote this technique in various parts. He has traveled extensively and worked in many countries. And in 2015, he was honored by the Krishi Ratna 2015 award by the government of Maharashtra. So we are really honored that he is here and he's going to share his knowledge with us. The second speaker for today is Mr. Tushar Desai. He has been working, he has been in this field for a very long time, but has been working as a core committee member of Subhash Palekar Natural Farming Movement for the last few years. He's a chemical engineer from Mumbai University and is a passionate promoter of natural farming. He has a well-established business in garden and farm management equipment. So welcome Tushar Desai, and welcome to both of you speakers. And now I invite Mr. Shekhar Barsavleji to speak on SRT, a regenerative method of farming, as he says, the most effective tool of carbon sequestration. Over to you, Shekhar Barsavleji.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And such a wonderful introduction. मैं हिंदी में भी थोड़ी सी बात करना चाहता हूं, और जैसे हिंदी में बात करूंगा, बीच बीच में अंग्रेजी का भी सहारा लूंगा, और कुछ भी नहीं तो मराठी में भी बात करना चाहता हूं। दोस्तों, ये जो टाइटल है आज का, लो कार्बन फार्मिंग, हमारे एक मित्र है डॉक्टर राजेंद्र शेंडे. ही इज फ्रॉम द टीम ऑफ नोबेल लॉरिएट्स, एंड he said the title is very good. He really appreciated the title, and the title is so nice. It's initially I thought it was going to confuse me, but now that Tushar also agrees that the title is open to speak from both ends. You can either sequester carbon or you can reduce the emission. So in both ways, it's very important. And so I'm going to use this wonderful opportunity कि दोनों तरफ से मैं इस विषय में बात करना चाहता हूं. तो कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन जो है, मैं पहले आप सबको बताना चाहता हूं कि कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन क्या है. जैसे कि आज दुनिया में जो दो प्रॉब्लम है, अकॉर्डिंग टू स्टीफन हॉकिंग, world is coming to a catastrophic end because of two things. One is food shortage and second is global warming. And both these problems are interrelated. हम पहले सोचते थे कि फूड प्रोडक्शन, किसान, खेती जो होती है, इसमें पूरी तरह से कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन होता है. कार्बन हवा में, जो एनवायरनमेंट में जो कार्बन है, वो कार्बन नीचे बैठ जाता है, मतलब मिट्टी में स्थिर होता है. लेकिन वैसा नहीं है. एग्रीकल्चर ऑल्सो is 30% contributor to global warming. So इस तरह से हमें खेती करते समय कैसी खेती करें जिसमें कार्बन, लो कार्बन फार्मिंग हो, मतलब कार्बन फिक्स भी हो और कार्बन कम से कम एमिट भी हो. तो ये हम हमारा जो तकनीक है SRT, इट्स अ वेरी यूनिक, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग तकनीक जो है. हमारी पूरी टीम बहुत मेहनत किया. सिंस 1998 हम काम कर रहे थे. 2011 में हमारे हाथ में पहली बार ये तकनीक आ गया और उसके बाद हम किसानों के साथ काम चालू किया. तो जैसे ही किसानों के साथ, पहले किसान सोचते थे कि हम प्लाविंग नहीं किया, पडलिंग नहीं किया, ट्रांसप्लांटिंग नहीं किया, धान की खेती हो कैसे सकती है, ये सच नहीं है. सो उनको जब मैं गारंटी दिया कि आपका नुकसान होगा तो मैं डबल आपको दे दूंगा, तो तब 30 किसान पहले शुरू किया कि हम करने के लिए तैयार हो गए ये तकनीक. उसके बाद धीरे धीरे बढ़ते बढ़ते आज की तारीख में महाराष्ट्र के 20 जिलों में अलग अलग, मतलब 20 जिलों में 8 क्लाइमेटिक एग्रो क्लाइमेटिक 25 अलग अलग फसलें, जैसे है, सूरजमुखी है, मूंगफली है, तो इस तरह से 30 अलग अलग फसलों में SRT is being utilized for एग्रीकल्चर सिस्टम। तो SRT में किसानों को बहुत फायदेमंद लग रहा है। फायदेमंद ऐसे लग रहा है कि एक तो उनके श्रम कम होते हैं, उनकी तकलीफें कम होती, उनका डिपेंडेंस ऑन 3 things: having large quantity of labor and tractors for tillage, tractors and plows for tillage, ये तीनों पर उनको अभी निर्भर नहीं रहना पड़ता। So they have really truly become आत्मनिर्भर, जो हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर की इच्छा है। हमारा देश, हमारे किसान, हमारे गांव वाले आत्मनिर्भर बने, तो SRT से किसान आत्मनिर्भर बन रहे हैं। और इसलिए for the first time we have noted that farmers have become happy, especially the rice farmers. So rice farmer का happiness index भी हमें किया है, वो मैं आपको जैसे स्लाइड चलेंगे तो मैं आपको दिखाना चालू कर दूंगा। तो ये सब है, इसमें कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन is one of the important issue. And what is carbon sequestration? In short, I will quickly want to tell you. जैसे कि आज धूप नहीं है क्योंकि आज बारिश का समय है, सितंबर महीना, लेकिन अगर if it was अप्रैल महीने में, ये देखिए ये समय है 11:26, सुबह अप्रैल महीने 12 बजे अगर मिट्टी हाथ लगाने के लिए मैं बताया आपको तो कैसे लगेगा? बहुत गर्म लगेगा। लेकिन उतने में अगर मैं बताया कि आओ बाजू में ये मूंगफली का खेत है, उसके पत्ते पकड़ो, ये 11-26 एक बाजू में है 2-4 फुट, तो ये पत्ते जो है वो उतने गर्म नहीं लगते हैं जितनी मिट्टी गर्म लगती है। क्यों ऐसा होता है? That's because the bare soil, the open soil absorbs heat and reflects it. That's why a hot feeling on our hand. But if you hold the leaves absorb that heat, that radiation, solar radiation. That solar radiation is utilized inside the plants in the process of photosynthesis, and because of which the plants don't feel hot. They are not hot, but they in fact cooler. Now when the plants feel cooler, they don't stop at the process of photosynthesis. The process of photosynthesis continues to resynthesis, exudation, humification, and humification. So there are 4 steps: photosynthesis, resynthesis, exudation, and humification. In these 3-4 processes, the plant become cooler, they throw out oxygen, and they utilize carbon dioxide from air. And in turn, they convert that carbon dioxide, the gaseous carbon dioxide, into humus as a final form, which actually is the soil. So it is a wonderful technique that nature has developed after millions of years of research and development to convert air into soil. So this is what is carbon sequestration. And in the carbon sequestration, if the process is right, this is what happens. सगुना बाग में हमारी जो मिट्टी थी वो इतनी सुंदर, इतनी मुलायम, इतनी खूबसूरत, इतनी खुशबूदार नहीं थी जो आज अभी हाथ में है। ये 3-4 साल के बाद SRT जैसे ही शुरुआत किया तो हमारी मिट्टी सुंदर बन गई। पहले ये मिट्टी कड़क थी, बहुत कठिन थी, और मिट्टी में पूरे क्रैक होते थे, और ये सब क्रैकिंग, और मिट्टी कभी भी खुशबू नहीं थी। एक ही बार जैसे पहला बारिश आ गया तो मिट्टी में खुशबू थी, लेकिन आज की तारीख में सगुना बाग हमारी जो खेती है 365 दिन मैं आपको दिखाऊंगा हमारी मिट्टी सॉफ्ट है और खुशबूदार है। तो इस तरह से ये फर्क होता है। अगर हवा का कार्बन मिट्टी में स्थिर होता है, कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन, and that carbon sequestration can take place only when you adopt regenerative method of farming. अभी ये जो regenerative and degenerative है, this is very important. In fact, आप सब लोग मैं आपको एक पहले वीडियो फिल्म भेजा था जिसमें किस द ग्राउंड करके 4 मिनट की डॉक्यूमेंट्री थी। But Kiss the Ground is a film that is being produced now. So if you go on a web, look for Kiss the Ground, you will get wonderful things. But these are the things we came to know after a long time. After we started practicing SRT, many farmers adopted it, and then we came to know about this science. So the science of degenerative farming is where the plowing is involved. If you plow the land, the carbon goes up. The carbon in the soil gets converted into gaseous forms and it goes up in the environment, and that is very bad for the soil, that is very bad for the farmer and for the environment. आज की तारीख में बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है कि आज हमारे हवा में कार्बन का प्रमाण 420 से भी ज्यादा ppm parts per million बढ़ गया है, जब 450 is the final limit and 3 ppm we are adding each year. But exactly opposite is this regenerative method of farming. If you don't plow the land, you can take multiple crops. जैसे कि ये धान की खेती, धान आपको और वो इसमें अभी गेहूं भी लगा, which is a major problem. हरियाणा में हम करते नहीं है, SRT में करना जरूरी नहीं पड़ता है। और ये रीजनरेटिव मेथड ऑफ फार्मिंग में सालों साल, जैसे 20 साल 25 साल हमें जमीन की जोताई करना, इंटरकल्टिवेशन करना, खरपतवारी करना, कुछ भी नहीं करना पड़ता है। तो ये रीजनरेटिव मेथड ऑफ फार्मिंग है। और रीजनरेटिव मेथड हमारा जो SRT है, इसके 3 प्रिंसिपल है। एक पहला प्रिंसिपल ये है नो टिल। सो हम प्लाविंग नहीं करेंगे, कोई भी कल्टिवेशन नहीं करेंगे, कोई भी हैरोइंग कुछ भी नहीं करते हैं। तो ये सब नहीं करने से सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट कार्बन वहां के वहां रहता है and soil becomes rich in carbon. So no-till is our first principle. Our second principle is leaving the crop residue in the in situ. जैसे कि वैसे वही रखना है। Especially जैसे कि पहले फसल की जड़ें हम मिट्टी में ही रखते हैं और वो मिट्टी में रखकर हम दूसरा फसल उसी प्लॉट में लगा देते हैं। उससे हमारा रीजनरेटिव, मतलब जो फसल की जड़ें होती है, they are made up of lignin, and lignin is a best source of carbon in the soil, addition of carbon, and carbon is a most important fuel or food for microbes, and microbes are the most useful thing for the crop and for carbon sequestration. So crop rotation, crop residue, leaving the crop residue in the soil is our second principle. Our third principle is crop rotation. जैसे हम धान के बाद धान नहीं लेना सपोर्ट करते, धान के बाद गेहूं लिया तो भी चलेगा, धान के बाद सब वेजिटेबल्स, कपास, मतलब धान के बाद आप और बहुत सारे फसल ले सकते हैं। जैसे कि मेज है, वेजिटेबल्स है, पल्सेस है, ग्राउंडनट, बहुत सारे फसल है जो धान के बाद या खरीफ में, जहां पर जैसे विदर्भ है, मराठवाड़ा है, खरीफ में जहां कपास लेते हैं खरीफ में, तो उसके बाद वो सोयाबीन लेते हैं या और कोई पल्स का क्रॉप ले लेते हैं। सो 3 प्रिंसिपल, नो टिल, लिविंग द क्रॉप रेसिड्यू इन सिटू एंड क्रॉप रोटेशन, ये हमारे 3 प्रिंसिपल है। 3 प्रिंसिपल से हमारे बहुत परिणाम जो है एकदम सुंदर परिणाम दिखाई देते हैं। जैसे ये क्रॉप रोटेशन का एक ऐसे बहुत उदाहरण है, लेकिन ये एक उदाहरण जो है बहुत सुंदर है। जैसे ये मिस्टर Ananta Kale is from Mawal, Pune, Mawal Taluka of Pune. उनका ये धान का फसल है, जैसे ये इंद्रायणी धान है, and his yield was more than 3,000 kilo, 3 ton per acre. He sold his paddy at the rate of 27 rupees a kilo. Then immediately after harvesting of paddy, he took lettuce. This is iceberg lettuce he took, and that yield was almost 12 ton per acre. And he sold that lettuce for at the rate of 17 rupees a kilo. And after harvesting lettuce, he took broccoli. All these 3 crops in the same field in 1 year. ऐसे हमारे जो आज 3-4 हजार किसान हैं, उनमें से जिनके पास इरिगेशन की फैसिलिटी है, I would say almost about 25% of the farmers, they all take 3 crops. But जिनके पास इरिगेशन की फैसिलिटी नहीं है, वो 2 फसल भी ले लेते हैं, क्योंकि as the carbon of the soil increases, the water holding capacity of the soil increases. As the carbon increases, the water infiltration of the capacity of the soil increases. So इस तरह से ये मिस्टर अनंता काळे का जो अलग-अलग फसल है, he could actually harvest almost 3 lakh rupees per acre in 1 year. So this is, and before he could adopt SRT, इनका जो उत्पाद था was barely 40-50,000 rupees an acre, but now it has gone to 3 lakhs. So just find out whether it was doubling of farmers' income or whether it was so many times of multiplying of farmers' income. So इस तरह से बहुत सारे किसान हैं. One of the most important thing हमारी जो ये तकनीक है उसमें कि किसान happy बनता है. Farmers' happiness index was one of the unique thing which we did, and that farmers' happiness index was we checked on the web later on that there was it was done for the first time by Malaysian Agriculture University. I'm talking about rice farmer, and they confirmed it that rice farmer can never become a happy farmer unless there is a big change in agronomic practices of the rice farmer, which happened in case of SRT. And everywhere we started listening the stories that farmers say, wow, I'm become happy. So this is something, and then we did farmers happiness index, which I will show you that this information, but you can see these are the farmers happy place from maybe several districts all over Konkan region, Vidarbha, and Western Maharashtra. We've got a lot of data, and this is actually happening. The farmers are becoming happy for several reasons. Their dependence on several things is gone. Their productivity has doubled, tripled. Their drudgery has reduced to half or even less than that, and everything. And their this infestation of pests and diseases also has become zero. Their dependence on fossil fuel gone completely. It has become zero. So happy farmer is something which we were looking for, and this is the chart which we have made. You can take a look quickly, but all this information we can provide you, whosoever would need it. We have got a lot of data, but on 0 to 10 scale, we checked 160 farmers, person to person, by visiting personally, asking them 20 questions, and dividing them all those questions in these various things. Happiness index was on 0 to 10 scale 8.58, but social image, environmental balance, economic growth, physical stress relief, mental stress relief, and work comfort. So on all these aspects, one of the most important thing that we are observing now, that able youth is returning to rice farming. They are developing confidence in rice farming. This is something very important information which we have found out, and that this happiness in case of farmer is something very important. But बात ऐसी है कि आज की जो हालत हो गई है किसान की, ये हालत के सुधारने के लिए गवर्नमेंट बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम अपना रहे, जैसे कि मैकेनाइजेशन के लिए गवर्नमेंट बहुत सपोर्ट करती है। और ये मैकेनाइजेशन का एक तरीका है, छोटा सा ट्रैक्टर, हैंड हेल्ड पावर टिलर बोलते हैं। और ये पावर टिलर किसान के पास जब आता है, क्या होता है, दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस। मतलब कोई भी ट्रैक्टर या पावर टिलर पडलिंग करना पड़ता है धान की खेती में, और जब धान की खेती में पडलिंग करते हैं तो ये होता है, दिस इज व्हाट वी लूज, and this loss is tremendous. Even farmer feels that this is blood of his land, and he feels very bad, but he doesn't have a choice. How much is it? We measured it. We took some of that mucky water, applied alum, kept it for 3 days, and this is what we got. We got 2 glasses full of clean water, which is 400 ml, and half a glass, which is 100 ml. That means 20% beautiful silt we lose each time a farmer tries to cultivate rice. This is a photograph from Thailand, where we were invited to go and teach SRT. This is a terrible situation. This is not beautiful. This is terrible. As you can see, the water is all blackish where the tractor is, and all these egrets, they have come to eat the maggots. There are so many maggots. These maggots indicate anaerobic condition, and this anaerobic condition is because these Thai farmers, they don't realize that just because there were a lot of water, they're using a lot of water, and they're wasting it by adopting huge mechanization. They're killing their soils. Similarly, ये जो है, हमें बुलाया था जयपुर, मोदी जी का जो अडॉप्टेड गांव है वाराणसी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, वहां पर हम गए थे। वहां का मुखिया, उनके जमीन का कार्बन देखिए, इट इज 0.15 लिखा है, अति न्यून। इट इज सो टेरेबल, 0.15। एक्चुअली दैट फार्मर इज किलिंग हिज सॉइल, और ये बहुत बुरा है। इट शुड बी एटलीस्ट 1%। एंड मोदी जी के गांव में ये है, और सगुना बाग में हमारे यहाँ जो 0.3 था, इट इज नाउ इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सैंपल इट इज 2.14, बट एक्चुअली हमारे सगुना बाग में it is more than 1% for sure every plot, but it is, I would say, average out, it can average out to 1.5. And then, you know, these are some of the things. This is Dr. Christine Jones from Australia. She's one of the pioneering scientists who did work on soil organic carbon, and she said that even if in Australia, whatever little arable soil land that they have, if they can sequester 0.5%, if they can fix 0.5% carbon into soil, then all the problem of carbon emission from Australia will be solved. And here it is. We have done some good work of SRT by taking soil samples, and that good work indicated that increase in organic carbon when the farmer cultivates his crop by SRT method, it is more than 0.3. It's up to 0.5. Most of the farmers are showing the increase in organic carbon is 0.5%, and 0.5% increase in organic carbon means it's fixing of 9 tons of carbon dioxide per year per acre. So these are some of the things that we saw in our Saguna Bagh, that lots of different types of birds suddenly started showing up because there were lots of earthworms. Having earthworms in paddy field was demonstrated for the first time in the world by SRT method. And this is not only at Saguna Bagh, all 3,000 farmers, wherever in all agroclimatic zones, wherever they are cultivating rice, they say that we've got earthworms. And you can see these are different colored, these are different types of soils from all over different places, and they all are showing, farmers are showing that they've got earthworms. All the biological fauna has started returning. The snakes have come back. This is Ghorpad, monitor lizard. They also have started coming back. Even the butterflies have started coming back. So all the nature has certified us to be the best eco-friendly method of farming. SRT is something really wonderful. This stops atrocity of tillage on the soil, and it ensures that the farmer becomes happy, the organic carbon goes up, it's return earthworms very efficiently, and then there are so many things. But I can answer. There's lots of things that I can tell you, talk to you about SRT, but I want to stop here at about SRT. But I would like to use my last few minutes. I would like to use some of my last few minutes to tell you we are doing two other things. हमारी टीम जो है 2-3 अलग-अलग प्रकार के और काम करती है. वो ऐसा है कि जिसे we call it SVT, Sarguna Vana Samvardhan Tantra, where we are able to stop wildfire on the hills, in jungles, in forests, or on the fallow lands. This is possible. As you can see, this hill from this point, as you can see, this line here all the way up to here is 2-kilometer line. But this has happened for the first time in the world on 2-kilometer length. On a dry day of December with wind, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this fire took place, and this fire did not cross this line, which was marked by our team. And we have treated this half the hill, which belongs to Forest Department, almost 125 acres, not even 1 square meter burned. Whereas here in this is a private land, 150 acres of land, all got charred within few hours. And so this was a big success. We are doing it for last 3 years. This is the third rainy season that we have approached. Last 2 years, it has not caught the fire. And because of which the plants that we have planted, not on the just one hill, we are working on 3 hills. On 3 hills, we have planted almost 70,000 plants, out of which the survival is 70-80%. Fantastic. It's just beautiful. We are able to see lots of different things, improved biodiversity, coming of worms, coming back of all the different fauna and microbes. But yeah, so this is something. There's something else that I would like to show you. In fact we are about to produce a little short film of about 8-9 minutes. So this is something very interesting. We found out that this is a treated hill, the same hill which you saw, where a lot of carbon sequestration has taken place. Good amount of biodiversity has improved. Lots of grasses, and you can see different types of plants. This is wild banana and all that. Whereas this is a hill just within 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer radius, 2 kilometers as the distance through the air. These are the 2 different waterfalls. And we are creating the film that the waterfalls, which is a curse to the environment. This is, I know many of you will not like to hear this, but waterfalls cause a lot of erosion. They cause a lot of problems, they cause a lot of damage. But we can reduce waterfall if the water starts getting infiltrated into mountain. And if we don't treat the mountain the way it is, it's going to the only rocky mountains. We will see only rock and waterfalls in the rainy season. So waterfalls is not really something which is the best thing. I have done sharing what I wanted to say, but here it is, my star farmer, a tribal star farmer. His name is Parshuram, and Parshuram would मराठीमध्ये परशुराम तुम्हाला 2-4 गोष्टी सांगेल की ज्याच्यामुळे त्याचा कॉन्फिडन्स कसा वाढला, त्याला कसं छान वाटतंय, हे तुम्हाला परशुराम कडून ऐकायला मिळेल.
नमस्कार, मी परशुराम आगिवले. पारंपरिक शेतीतून एसआरटी कडे गेले 7 वर्षापासून एसआरटी पद्धतीने, भात लागवड पद्धतीने जेव्हा मी शेती करायला सुरुवात केली, तर आताच्या ह्या धावपळी युगामध्ये शेतकऱ्याला सोपं, साधं आणि आपल्याला परवडेल अशी शेती हवी असते. आणि ह्या धावपळीमध्ये जर आपण जुन्या पारंपरिक पद्धतीमध्ये जेव्हा शेती करतो तर अनेक अडचणी हे शेतकऱ्यासाठी हे उभ्या ठाकलेल्या असतात. त्यामुळे शेतकरी हा शेतीमध्ये पूर्णपणे बंदिस्तच असतो, त्याला मोकळीक हा विषयच नाही. तर याच्यामुळे शेतकऱ्यांना खूप अडचण येते आणि यासाठी शेतकरी आता नेहमी धडपडत असतो. प्रत्येक गावात जर पाहिलं आपण तर शेतकऱ्याला काहीतरी सुटका हवी असते आणि चांगलं असतं, चांगला. परंतु आता आपण गेले 7 वर्षामध्ये मी जेव्हा SRT पद्धतीने शेती करायला लागलो तेव्हा SRT मधले आपण कोणत्याही पद्धतीने नांगरकी न करता, कोणत्याही प्रकारची नर्सरीसाठी भाजावळ न करता, कोणत्याही प्रकारे ट्रॅक्टर याचा वापर न करता शेती करतोय. त्यामुळे आपण ह्या शेतीमध्ये शेतकरी याला अतिशय उत्तम असं याच्यामध्ये ज्या गोष्टी हव्या आहेत त्या सर्व SRT पद्धतीमध्ये संपूर्ण आहेत. याच्यामध्ये आपण जेव्हा भात लागवड करतोय तर भात लागवड करण्यासाठी ज्या अडचणी आहेत, नांगरकी असेल, माणसाचं असेल, ज्या शेतकऱ्याला हे SRT पद्धतीमध्ये अशी कोणतीही प्रकारची अडचण लागत नाही. आपण एकदा कर वाफे बनवले SRT मध्ये तर पुढचे 20 वर्षे आपल्याला शेतामध्ये नांगरकी न करण्या लागण्यामुळे तर शेतकऱ्याचे जे पैसे, श्रम हे तर वाचतातच, परंतु आपली जमीन न उखळल्यामुळे ती त्याच्यामध्ये शेतकऱ्याने पहिल्या पावसामध्ये आपण लागवड करतोय. त्याच्यामध्ये लागवड केल्यानंतर पहिल्या पावसापासून आपल्या जमिनीमध्ये पाणी मुरण्याचं काम होतंय आणि याच्यामुळे आपल्याला जेव्हा अनियमित पाऊस असतोय, कधी पाऊस पडतोय, कधी पाऊस पडत नाही, त्याचा सुद्धा खूप या शेतकऱ्यांना इथे फायदा होताना मला दिसला. कारण हे जे अनियमितपणाचा जो फटका शेतकऱ्यांना बसतोय, SRT मध्ये कोणत्याही प्रकारच्या शेतीला दगा किंवा फटका बसत नाही. त्यामुळे शेतकरी कमी पावसात खूप सुंदर शेती करू शकतो आणि त्याचं उत्पादनामध्ये कोणत्याही प्रकारची आजपर्यंत मी माझ्या शेतामध्ये घट पाहिली नाही. दुसरी गोष्ट, त्याचं उत्पादन तर खूपच छान येते, पण अजून एक गोष्ट त्याच्यामध्ये जेव्हा कळते की जेव्हा आपला भात कापल्यानंतर म्हणजे जेव्हा रब्बीमध्ये सुरुवात होते, जेव्हा आपण दुसरी लागवड करायला सुरुवात करतोय त्यावेळेस एक आपण न नांगरकी असल्यामुळे किंवा कोणत्याही ट्रॅक्टरचा त्याच्यामध्ये आपण छेडछाड न करता त्याच बेडवर लगेच एक 4 दिवसानंतर आपण जेव्हा दुसरी लागवड म्हणजे कडधान्य असेल, भाजीपाला असेल, कोणतेही पीक असेल, त्या शेतकऱ्याला लगेच 4 दिवसामध्ये जमीन हातामध्ये तयार होते आणि त्याच्या न उखळल्यामुळे तिथूनच बाष्पीभवन किंवा ओलसरपणा न हटल्यामुळे त्या ओलितामध्ये त्याला अतिशय लवकरात लवकर जेवढं चांगल्या प्रकारे पीक त्याच्या हातामध्ये येते आणि आपली जमीन नेहमी आच्छादनामध्ये राहिली जाते आणि ते पीक झाल्यानंतर तिसरं पीक लगेच दुसऱ्या दिवशी आपण लगेच लागवड करून तिसरं पीक सुद्धा आपण त्याच बेडवर घेतोय. म्हणजे या दृष्टीने आम्हाला असं कळलं का आपल्याला एकोपाठ एक आपल्याला पिकं मिळाली, आपलं उत्पादन वाढलं आणि आपली जमीन सदारहित आच्छादनामध्ये राहिले. म्हणजे कोणत्याही प्रकारे त्याला मल्चिंगची इतर गरज नाही आणि अतिशय कमी पाण्यामध्ये आपण त्याच्यामध्ये कोणत्याही प्रकारचं पीक घेऊ शकतोय. म्हणजे एकदम तर हे सगळं या शेतीमधून आम्हा शेतकऱ्यांना खूप SRT मध्ये खूप सांगण्यासारखं आहे आणि हे सगळं शेतकरी जेवढे SRT शेतकरी शेती करतात या सर्व गोष्टीचा ते अनुभव घेतात, आनंद लुटतात आणि प्रत्येक उत्पादन खूप छान पद्धतीने येते. तर याबरोबर आम्ही शेती करता करता आमच्या जमिनीमध्ये सुपीकता, पाण्याचा साठा आणि सतत आमची जमीन झाकली राहते, याच्यामुळे आम्हाला खूप आनंदही भेटतो आणि उत्पादनही भेटतं. धन्यवाद.
You must have understood why I said star farmer. Anyway, I want to congratulate IEAR, Institute of Environment and Architectural Research. Wonderful work. It's a very timely webinar that you have organized. I congratulate you all and thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much for listening to Parshuram, which was so in Marathi. दोस्तों, आप सबको मैं एक अपील करना चाहता हूँ, ये सब जो काम हम कर रहे हैं, ये सब काम सोसाइटी के लिए कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज आप शहरों में जो लोग हैं, आप लोगों को अगर खाने के लिए खाना चाहिए और सूंघने के लिए ऑक्सीजन चाहिए, तो वो काम एक अच्छा किसान जैसे कि SRT नो टिल कंजर्वेशन एग्रीकल्चर मेथड से ही अगर करेगा तो ही फूड भी मिलेगा और हवा में ऑक्सीजन भी आएगा। हम काम जो करते हैं हमारे साथ हाथ बटाइए, साथ ही हाथ बढ़ाना, हम साथ ही हाथ मिलकर काम करेंगे। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, Shekhar ji, for your wonderful talk, and also your colleague. There are quite a few questions, and I think that we will take at least a few of them right now, and a few maybe later towards the end after Tushar ji's presentation. So there are some people who had difficulty understanding the language because they are from all over the world. So could you, in a very brief, explain about what SRT is? There is one person here who has asked about that. I think name is Suhas Kulkarni. SRT principles, can it be elaborated? Maybe in a very short. Can you do that in maybe English?
SRT principles? The question
Can you
is?
elaborate what are these exactly SRT principles when you say SRT?
Okay, SRT principles. SRT, well, by the way, you can just go on a web and ask for SRT and you'll get a lot of information. But quickly I will tell you, there are three principles. No-till. No-till means plowing, puddling, harrowing, intercultivation, all these operations which are causing a lot of problem because it's dependency. It has to be done timely operations, and all those operations require machines, and those machines are now becoming modern, better, more expensive. So these machines and all this thing, in our method, this whole thing is not required because this is very unnatural. We don't disturb the soil. We don't disturb the soil at all. So this is our first principle, no-till. Our second principle is leave the roots of the previous crop in the soil. So the plant is made up of upper portion above the ground and below the ground. Above ground is leaves, branches. They are made up of cellulose, and below the ground is roots, which is made up of lignin. Lignin is the best source of carbon. So leave the lignin, the roots, in the soil undisturbed and allow it to decay slowly. That's the best method. That's our second principle. Third principle is rotation of crops. I showed you a few slides where we don't take same crop again and again. So rotation of crops is our third principle, and these are not new principles. These are the principles which have been depicted even in Vedas. But this never became a movement. That was the problem. There are great sages in the past who have tried bringing this technology, but somehow God gave us this technique, SRT, which is becoming a movement with the farmers because the farmers are becoming happy.
Thank you, Shekhar ji. There are more questions, but I remember when we visited your farm, you had exactly given us the statistics about how much diesel, etc. A typical farmer would spend on an acre of land doing rice cultivation, and so that all that means carbon emissions. So all that can be saved. At the same time, we are protecting the soil.
Yeah, all that on our farm. I was farming rice on say 12 to 15 acres, and I was burning fuel 500 liters of diesel for 2 seasons. Let's say rice, and on half the acreage, like maybe 7-8 acres of pulses and some vegetables, I used to burn 500 liters of diesel. Today, I mean, since 2012, we have converted all our land into SRT, and we use zero diesel now. We have sold away all of. I had a big tractor and a small tiller. No more plowing, no more tillage, no more. Everything is gone, and the labor requirement also has reduced to 30%. 70% labor is saved, and the crops are better and better. It's just fantastic. If I feel depressed, I just go out in the field and suddenly I get refreshed instantly.
Yes, as a person who is trying to become a farmer, I know these problems of getting labor getting the machines and all of these, it's just unbelievable. So it's just the right thing to do, I suppose. There are questions.
I want to add a little bit to that comment, especially those who are, let's say, I don't want to use the word weekend. That's not a good word, but those are who don't live on the farm. Those people who commute for their major profession.
The weekend farmers.
No. I don't want to use that word. but there are policemen. There are people who do into service. They are businessmen, and they have adopted SRT. They said nothing better than this. It's just working out fantastic for them, because in SRT the amount of work has reduced by 70%. Only 30% work is there, and 30% work anybody can do. You don't have to depend on the especially trained labor, skilled labor. You don't have to. For somebody like you, SRT is the thing.
Great. Thank you. There is a question from Ameya who's asking, does permaculture come under low carbon farming? Would you be able to answer that?
I think Tushar would be able to. Tushar, you think you would want to?
So maybe we can take that question later.
Yeah. Okay.
There is.
I'm not well versed with permaculture, but SRT must be very close to that. It's a permanent beds, permanent raised beds. You don't have to disturb the beds for next 20 years or lifetime.
Okay. So.
But for whatever information,
yes,
you just punch SRT, and I guarantee you it will not go to Sachin Ramesh Tendulkar. It will come to us.
Okay.
Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that. Okay.
No. Okay. I think that we will wait for further questions later on. There are some questions coming in, but we can take them also. There's a question from Mr. Ameya, the same person who asked about permaculture. Are there any courses for learning SRT?
Very soon we will start, but if he can approach us, we will start a special course for him right away.
Okay.
Yeah, all he has to do is just approach us. We have a wonderful team, and that the whole team. In fact, each year when we travel, we were able to travel. We could increase new number of farmers up to 200 to 300. This year, when we could not travel and we could only address through these webinars and videos and YouTube, we were able to get 400 farmers. 400 farmers, and they're all very happy, excellent, dedicated, and there's already a big movement that is started. So our number is increasing very, very fast.
So thank you. There are lots of good comments on your talk, Shekharji. We will have some more questions after our second speaker speaks in. So I invite Tushar Desai to start your presentation, please. Thank you.
Yeah, before that, I would like to say thank you, Roshni, for inviting here. It was a pleasure listening to Shekharji. Yes, I have learned SRT also, and after a long time reunion. Yes, for all the participants, this same basic principles go on, because for the carbon sequestration. So I'll go with my presentation. You will understand there are lots of similarity between the both. This is my background. I'm a chemical engineer by education, and now a farmer and educating farmers in the field of SPNF. And we are promoting this. This is our recent photograph. Of course, 6 months back, our whole team had visited our Governor Koshyari ji to know him about what is, and he's very enthusiastic. It was half an hour meeting, lasted almost for 2 hours. So what this all it is about, this is a SPNF. And as the name suggests, it is Subhash Parekar Natural Farming. Padma Shri, Khushi Rushi Padma Shri Dr. Subhash Parekar, you can see in photograph. And it's a name which is happening big time in the farming field now. So to give you some background about this basically this was earlier known as zero budget natural farming, and last 2 years our finance minister has started speaking about zero budget, and there is lots of how can this be zero budget? So zero budget, it was a term which was coined, like, the term in the sense, basically there are two principles. When you say zero budget, you are not buying anything from the outside. The farmer produces whatever inputs he wants through the desi cow dung and urine and plant leaves, etc. All these inputs are from the farm itself. And second thing is that we believe in lots of intercropping, multi-cropping patterns, as Shekharji suggested. So all the intercropping takes away all the expenses, and the main crop gives you the 100% profit. So that is something which is a very baseline. But later it was lots of objected. How can you say anything which costs as zero budget? So we termed, like, it was natural farming. So what is natural farming? Yes, the way the things are happening in the forest. You have to understand the ecosystem of the forest. See, forest, it is all the shrubs or flora, fauna, everything, like, coexist. They grow, survive, sustain, whatever, like, extreme conditions like drought or heavy rains. They are kind of, they work in the symbiosis. Normally the universities teach, like, this crop we need, that crop's food, but it doesn't happen that it happens only in the human being. But in the plants, they support each other, and that is what is natural. So whatever you see in the forest, if you replicate that same ecosystem in your farm, that we call it as a natural farming. So earlier this was zero budget natural farming. We started with the team called Uttar Konkan, that is the Palghar and Thane district. So this is about Guruji. Guruji, he received, we call him with the love, Guruji. He's got received a Padma Shri award in 2016 at the hands of then President Dr. Pranab Mukherjee. More than 50 lakhs, of course, this is old slide. I think the figure has gone to 75 lakhs, because see, now the whole SPNF technology is available on the YouTube. So we don't know how many farmers are doing it. They are just like, like Eklavya, they have started following this. Lots of books are available, lots of material in the YouTube, and things are available. So the things are growing. As I said, the zero budget, no putting any inputs. Whatever you are putting in your farm, inputs are taken from your farm itself. These are the basic four principles or four wheels of zero budget natural farming, or SPNF. First is Bijamrut, second is the Jivamrut, third is Achhadan, and fourth is Vapsa. I will explain all this in the detail. These are the basically four pillars we are talking about. Bijamrut talks about the seed treatment. Jivamrut is basically when you put it in the soil, it creates your microorganism activation. Achhadan is a covering, and that's what Shekharji told about. They leave the crop plants, like crop roots, in situ. So that is, we are covering the soil. And Vapsa is about the your irrigation condition. Bijamrut. I'll not get into all these details. I have given this. Anybody is interested, they can write it down. But these all things are available in the YouTube. Basically, Bijamrut, as it says, it is doing a Bija Samskar when you treat any seed or any plant when you're planting in the soil. So what two things major you get the result? That 90% of germination result happens. That is something which is a very big. And secondly, the survival is very high because the immune power of the plant increases. And in the COVID situation, now you know what is the importance of having the immune power. It's all basically cow dung and urine, some little calcium carbonate chuna, live soil, and you have to just leave it for 24 hours, and then you have to soak the seeds. Details can be given in person, whatever, if anybody is interested. The next is Jivamrut. This is something which is a very much important. You have to understand what is happening in the forest. See, forest, all the soil you have, all the microorganisms are present. In our farm, we have last 1965, the Green Revolution came. And from there, we started using all the chemical fertilizers. Urea was the basic. And with these all fertilizers, the whole soil texture has gone for a toss. And all the food which was available there for all these microorganisms, and even the earthworms, they were most uncomfortable, so they have gone hibernated, or they have gone to the field, or they have gone to Saguna Bagh, to Shekharji's farm. So what we do with this Jivamrut, this is it's just like, you are putting, when you are creating curd, So when you put a little bit of curd in the bowl of milk, so same way we are putting this Jivamrut in an acre of land. So what is requirement is a 200-liter water, 10 kg of desi cow. Here when you are talking about cow, it is a desi cow. Desi cow has a two distinct feature. She has got a hump, okay, and it's got a throat which is limping throat. So you can identify that. Then 5 to 10 liter of desi cow urine, 1 kg jaggery, preferably black. If jaggery is not available, you can use the sweet fruits like papaya or the custard apples, the pulp of that you can use that, or even the sugar cane directly, or the sugarcane juice can be used. 1 kg besan, that is a flour of any dicot material, will be appreciated. 1 handful of live soil. Live soil is something soil you can get it from the forest, which doesn't have the any fertilizer or the pesticide. It's full of microorganisms, it's full of life. The best soil you can see, the one below the banyan or the people tree. You have to keep it for the 48 hours in the summer days, 72 hours in the winter days. And whatever the liquid is prepared is Jivamrut. Next is Achad. Basically, Jivamrut, I'll tell you one thing. The Guruji says the soil is Annapurna. The motherland is having all the ingredients, nutrients required. Any plant or any human being required 108 elements. The Mendeleev table, if you remember. Out of this, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, 3 main gases important. Then NPK, that is nitrogen, phosphorus, and potash. Third thing is calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. And all remaining 99, which are required as a micronutrient. So all these are 108 are required. These are all are present. They may not be in the superficial surface of 6 inches or 9 inches. And unfortunately, all the soil tests are recommended in that surface. All the nutrients are available in the whole of the strata of the soil. And the nature, in the forest, they have this system to bring that all the nutrients up. There are different cycles, different nature's technologies which brings that micronutrient for the plant, and that is how the plants grow. And this Jivamrut will give this microorganism and the earthworm in that soil. So that will basically bring all the food at the top of the soil to make it available for the plants and in the cooked form so that the plants can take up that. Achadan is again, it is all covering because as you know, the Guruji says the sunlight should not fall on the soil because our friend microorganism and the earthworm, they are living there. So we should not, as we sit in the AC or with the fan or with the air cooler, same way they want the comfortable condition. So this Achadan will provide that the condition for them. The sunlight should fall on basically on the leaves, and that is how you can get the food from the plant. Now when you put the Achadan, so it is all the plant parts which are not useful for us, but they are useful for the nature. So normally, as you see in Punjab, and after the wheat is cut, they burn that, and the whole Punjab and Haryana is burning, and then all that gases go to the Delhi, and then Kejriwal is all coughing. So this is the problem, root cause. But this same resource can be put in the soil. It will be more nutritious soil. It will having lots of carbon. The 3 ways of doing Achadan, we say Mruda Achadan. This is where we just till the top layer of 6 inch, and that too with the Nangar. Second is Sajiv Achadan. Here we are talking about the multi-cropping. But here multi-cropping, we don't leave just one crop. We are taking 4 to 5 different types, because see, every plant has a different light requirement. That is a candle feet requirement. Like the coconut goes so high, or the big plants grow high because they want more sunlight. And there is always fight for the sunlight. And those who don't require, they will fall, they will not grow much. So depending upon the sunlight requirement, like that we have a special model called as a 5-layer model. And that is how the way we have FSI, in all the architects will understand that language. The way we have a 1 FSI, 2 FSI, 3 FSI, 4. So here we have 5 FSI. So when you have 5 different crops, so you have 5 FSI. So we can start with the leafy vegetable, then you can have all dicots, or maybe some fruit vegetables. Then at the 6 feet level, you can have the some straight crops like you have maize or ragi or jowari, that is sorghum. So all these plants grow at 6 feet, and again and then you have something at 8 to 10 feet, bigger plants like banana. Then you have moringa, that is drumstick, and then you can have also papayas. And below the ground also you can go with all these roots. So you have potato, onion, ginger, and turmeric, and lots of below soil things can be grown. So that is a sajiv, or that is a sajivan. And here specifically I would like to do, when you are putting the covering mulching, so that is giving the carbon. But when you have sajivan, so you have a nitrogen in the air, 78% nitrogen in the air. So the plants has this mechanism to draw that nitrogen from the air and fix it in the soil. So normally the dicots do this work. So all the dicots, all the dal we eat, all the usad we eat. So all they have on their, they have nodes on their roots, and these nodes they fix the nitrogen from the air and give it to the soil, and creating that nitrogen rich soil. You don't have to put the NPK into that. And Kasta Achadan is all the parts, leftover parts of your plants, all the leaves and the branches which you are not consuming should be put back to your farm, and that will give the carbon. That is all. So this is the 3-layer Achadan which will give you the very rich soil, and that is how the organic carbon of the soil can get increase or enrich soil. The next is Vapsa. That is the irrigation condition. See, normally we have been taught since childhood, the plant, the water should be given at the base of the trunk. Actually, it's a very wrong technology. Plant, I always give example of child psychology. If a child wants something, you should ask him to do some extra effort, and then only you should give him. If a child gets a say 90% mark in the exam, then he should be given a cycle. Otherwise not. So obviously he will try to get that cycle. He will put in more extra effort. In that process of efforts, he may get or he may not get the marks, but his muscles are developed, or he's doing while doing this effort. Same way, the roots which they take the food. These roots, there is one taproot for the plant, and the roots which are running parallel 6 inches below the soil, they are at till the end of the periphery of the plant, the shadow of at 12 o'clock of any plant, that is a foliage shadow. It's an imaginary circle. So all the small roots, white roots, they are reached till that point. So if you want to grow your plants, the water should be given 6 inches away from that shadow circle, which is an imaginary circle. And if you give that, then in that process, the roots will go more to get that water. Then water also in the form, if you take it as a Vapsa. Vapsa, it is 100%, it is a 50% air and 50% water vapor. So normally plants take this mixture. So we have seen the classic example in Mumbai. Lots of all these Mumbai's tulsi plants die within 2 to 3 months when you bring them. So normally people say, "Baju wale ki nazar lag gayi," but actually it is not. It is you are putting lots of extra water, and the roots are getting decayed. They are not getting the air, and this is how you are killing your own plant. So in the same condition, if you put your water just 6 inches from the periphery of this plant, this is how you will get the result, because then in process the roots will grow in size, the roots will grow in the length, and when the roots will grow more, they will take up more food. So when more food, that means you have more fruits, that means you have more sale, that means you have more money. So it's a simple thing. If you want more money, just put water 6 inches above, 6 feet away from the 12 o'clock foliage shadow circle. Okay, so these are the basic 4 things. You need to do this day in, day out. In this 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, all this Achadan, Vapsa and Bijamrut, these are all to be done once in the lifetime of that plant. Only the Jivamrut cycle will be the 15-day cycle. So every 15 days you have to continue to do that. And that is the only thing which will need to be repeated. There are a lot can be given in the detail, but looking at the period, the time shortage, I will cover this. This is what we're talking about, the intercropping. There are main crop, and this when you do the intercropping, there is a lots of de-weeding problem is also solved, because once that major area is covered, the weeds will not cover, not will grow, So that is how it was told, like, the plants have no competition. They in fact cooperate each other. They promote each other, and that is we promote this intercropping at very main level, and that is the key of this zero budget. Because when you have, see, sometimes what happens, some of the other crop can get failed, like, so it's some diseases come or something like come, but then you have the multiple choice. So that multiple choice will give you the option that you are anyhow getting some money. See, these are the way of we educate farmers. This is how we educate. Guruji takes this shibir. These are called residential shibir. There's almost 5 to 6 days, or sometime it is a very mega shibir, that is 9 days. And actually the day in day out, my personal experience is that when I did my shibir in April 2016 at Nasik, it was totally, mind was changed. Like, it was, I said, my complete thought process got changed, because what he talked was made very big sense. And like that, to understand that, I did 5 shibirs. Like, I did one again at Murbad, and one at Dapoli, then at Shirdi, and then I went all the way to Jhansi to learn, like, how Guruji teaches, like, So it's lots of learning. So he's available. He was, now with the COVID situation, we are available on YouTube live on Saturdays and Sundays. Then second thing we do, we tell, like, Guruji takes us to the Shivar Feri. Shivar Feri is called as, like, the successful farmers. So all the people all across, now we have people coming all across the India, and people come to that farmer's place. Guruji also accompanies, and Guruji tells, like, what has worked, which principle has been followed, which pillar has been followed nicely. And even he pulls up that farmer sometimes, like, jokingly, that he doesn't want more money, that's why he has not done the more intercropping or something like that. So even he knows what our mistakes are done. And so lots of learning from the Shivar Feri. I have gone many places. So this is where actually you get to learn. Lots of, you can see the waterman, Mr. Rajendra Siaji, along with his friend to Guruji, when Padma Shri Vijay Bhatkar, like, he's a great follower of Guruji. This is our team. We started we took first Shibir at Kalyan, guiding almost 100 plus farmers, and that is where we started. And now I take lots of seminars on my own Mondays, so that, like, farmers at least gets the basic knowledge to start with. Yes, detailing can be given. This is the practical training we had done at Badlapur. This is where you can see all our plant protection system, which I didn't talk about. This all plant protection is based from the leaves. So we have a Neemastra. Neemastra starts with the basically extract of the neem leaves. Then we have Brahmastra, Agniastra. Agniastra is lasun, like, the garlic, mirchi, lamit we call it. Garlic, chili and tobacco. That is the extract of all these three. Then Dashaparni Arka has 5 main plants, and we got another 40 options for the remaining 5, and like that. But it's a long process to make. Almost takes 40 days to create Dashaparni Arka. Then we use 3 days buttermilk. So this is a 3 days buttermilk, helps a lot, because that is as a fungicide. It works as a fungicide. Then as a hormone, we can put in the coconut water. That even we have a Sapta Dhanyankur. So all this, like, farmer can produce this all, whatever is requirement. You don't have to go to the shop. And so Guruji's principle that the money from the village will remain in the village, and the money from the city will come to the village. That is the basic principle, that is the idea. Now what is happening through the all multinational, the money from village is going to the multinational company, to the different channels, the Krishi Seva Kendra, and then is go to the main city, and then to the main city, and then to the, it goes away out of India, because majority of the multinationals are from outside. So this is what we do, the practical trainings. This is what anybody want. Nice food also we offer. So there are lots of things to be done in this area. Lots of farmers education need to be done. This is, some of the states have taken this issue very. When Chandrababu Naidu was the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, he had in fact appointed a highest level officer, Mr. Vijay Kumar, to take up this whole issue as on the state level basis. And majority of the seminars were conducted And they have one connection. Amravati was then it was like, now it is the capital of the Hyderabad, and that was like, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. And Guruji also from the place called Amravati from Maharashtra. And lots of big movement happening in the Andhra Pradesh. Then the governor of Himachal Pradesh, then he is now with the Gujarat now, Acharya Devrat ji, and he has done lots of natural farming for this apple farmers, and these are major changes happening. We are lucky enough to have these apples coming sometime to Mumbai, and we are cherishing them. And lots of other states are happening, and now Gujarat is on the lead now, because Acharya Devrat ji has come to, Modi ji has sent him to the Gujarat to change that, and a major government level program is happening. Maharashtra is also coming in a way, but there is all happening in the cluster way. But now the major thing has happened is the Niti Aayog has accepted this zero budget natural farming, because Modi ji wanted two things, that the farmers' income should be doubled, and farmers uh, is like, his input also get doubled. Sorry, the farmers' production should get doubled, and the thing should be so quality that his income should also get doubled. And this is the quite possible with the natural farming, because Subhash Parekar natural farming, you get the food which has got a lots of highly nutrition. It is a poison free, and that's why you get a good price in the market. So only thing is that a different marketing strategy has to be adopted, and now the new law coming, I think APMCs will get abolished. So lots of things happening around us, lots of award to the Guruji, and there are so many testimonies which I could give, like, there is a lots of media coverage is taking care of this. And these are some success stories I can tell you, because I would like to talk something about this. And very different person. He's Mr. Ashish. He's a basically engineer, very young guy in his 40s. So 6 to 9 he works in the farm, and 9 to 6 he works in engineering firm. This farm is located very much in the city, in the Manjari in Pune, on the Hadapsar road, that is Solapur road. And you see lots of vegetables growing, the thickness of the leaf or the width of the leaf, you can see this is a air apple and lots of things. You can see this is moringa. He is an expert in moringa. Every 6-9 months he will chop it out, and see this is he has a good sale for the seeds, and his seeds people are growing, and now they are getting a good yield. So he's like, helping others to grow their farms. And this is lots of media coverage he has got in this newspaper called Agrovan, and this is within the city. This is what, and this is the nature is giving salute to Ashish. You can see the honey bees there, and I'll tell you this. The location of this farm, I have visited many times to this farm. It is right bang opposite to the very running road. The road within after half an hour leads to a Manjari railway station. Opposite to his farm, there is a petrol pump. So in the petrol pump there are fumes in the air. And next to this farm, there is this Poonawalla, this serum company happening. There is a construction happening for last 2 years, and now our vaccine will be, I think, coming through that. And his area is only 22 guntas. That is just little above half an acre. But you can see the honeybees. So that means he has created that nature in spite of whatever the extreme conditions outside his farm. He has created this nature, and that's why the honeybees are creating this beehive there. So they are saying hi to all. The next farmer I'll take, there are so many, but I've just taken few this. Now this is Sudhakar, our friend from, he's from Terrace Garden from Kolhapur. And he's attending, I think, his today's seminar. So these are his brinjal, this is banana, and this is tomato. And all these are growing on the terrace. And next, you'll wonder, this is a rice grown on the terrace. Of course, this is not a SRE technique, but he has grown it. This is first time he has done this experiment, and is very successful. You can see the thickness and the greenness of this plant. I am hoping to get some rice to eat this. And this is something unique. He's basically Mumbai, gone back to Kolhapur again. Of course, naturalist and lots of environment things he was doing. And you can see the right side. This is a turmeric plant, a simple drum and you can see that every hole there is a turmeric is growing. And in the small place, every Mumbaiker can do this, grow his own turmeric at his home. So no adulterated or the turmeric which is removed, oil removed turmeric which we get in the market. And he's our friend, Mr. Sudhakar and Meena Bhabi. So they are all couple working there. And घर के ऊपर ही है, 2 माले का बंगला है, बहुत बढ़िया बंगला है, बहुत बार रह के आया हूँ. And this flat, which is has a 2-3 layer garden, he has lots of things. In the outside, he has got a cow in his house bungalow. So that's like normally in Mumbai we have a car, and these are the farmers who have a car and as well as a cow parking. So that's a great thing which is happening. So I am almost done with this. Do we have some more time, and or am I too fast? Roshni?
No, you can go ahead if you have something else to say.
I'll go back to the details which we have, like, initially gone very fast with the initial which we're talking about. So then when we are talking about this Jivamrut, so Jivamrut basically we are doing this to create the soil. What happens? The nature has 4 cycles. One is the food cycle, second is the capillary force, third is the cyclones, and fourth is the earthworm movement. And through these all 4 activities, all the nutrients which are lying way below the soil, they keep coming up, and that is how the forest is fed with the all nutrients which are required. So that is the beauty of this nature, and this can be done by using the Jivamrut, because when you put Jivamrut there, you are creating that microorganism, you are creating that micro environment which is required for the all this culture to grow. And ultimately when you put this all the mulching, which gets converted into humus, and which is the big source of the nutrients for these plants. And when you get this in situ, this lots of carbon emission is reduced, because no single paisa of the chemical fertilizer or the chemical pesticides are being put on the plants. And that's why lots of saving for the farmers. And many creating this all farm produce which are highly nutritious, highly tasty, had been consuming it for last more than 3 years, and it's been lovely. Like, Mumbai people want this, so the thrust is on the farmers. Like, this material always out of stock. I say jokingly, the produce in the SPNF farm is a volatile, because whenever the farmer produce, it goes off. Like, the local people who come to know it is available, the people go there and buy it at farmer's price, and that is something which is beauty which is happening. So anyone, like, who has any simple, even your small pots, kitchen garden can get converted into this natural farming. So you can grow your own vegetables. Once you get that chaska, like you have Roshni, she has a farm in Alibag going all the way, and it's very difficult. But then that effort starts, you getting paid off, and you can think of getting the land. Of course, buying a land is very difficult, but you can see there are so many lands available. You can have some joint venture, you can take someone in a lease and start you doing that. You don't have to buy that, not necessarily. So there are a lot of things can be done, because the food is getting day by day scarce, and as the pandemic has shown that all businesses are closed down or not operating at the pace which are. But the agriculture sector is growing. Because we were taught in the school, roti, kapda, makan, that is the basic requirement. But kapra and makan chal gaya in the COVID situation, but roti was required all the time, 3 times a day. So farmers were doing their work, like, so that is what we are with. So yes, I'm done with that. We can have more time with the question and answer. This is some last slide. I would just like to say thank you. This is what we do. This is me me and my wife Tushar and Vidya is a team. Okay, we do SPNF Prachar Prasar. We are teaching farmers. I go across this Palghar, Thane, Raigad, Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg. These are the 5 districts I keep moving. We have a big team in Mumbai operating. We have a team generation is my area. And we are doing this helping farmers to sell their goods in Mumbai, so that they have a good retail rates available instead of going through the APMC market. So these are my numbers. If anybody has any interest, anybody would like to join this movement, yes, we all welcome. Our next step is going to be in Roshni's Alibag farm. So we are going to create that is first. So SRT farming, and the SPNF farming will go together at this place. So big thank you for IAR. It was great listening. I'm seeing all the 100 participants all the time, 90 plus. So thank you very much for giving this platform. Thank you, Prajakta. Thank you, Sneha. I'm done. We can have some questions.
Thank you, Tushar. So there are some questions already for you. One I would like immediately want you to answer. Maybe even Shekhar ji can take it. But this is a question for you from Rohit Rajora, who is asking about what is the difference between natural farming and organic farming?
Yeah, it's basically natural farming. Whatever you are doing is doing. You are getting things from the way it is system in the forest, which is happening. We are duplicating that. We are not buying anything from the outside. In organic farming, it is like in our engineering, we are told ATKT, allowed to keep the term. Up next साल जाते हो 2-3 subject लेके साथ में, you are said past 3rd year, but you are going to the farming. Organic, there are lots of conditions. Organic farming. Certifications are required in natural farming. We don't say you don't require certification. You just test it. You will realize the differences. You can visit our farmers' places, and this is how it's a big difference. But in a nutshell, I can tell you, natural and organic is totally different.
Would you like to add anything to that, Shekhar ji?
Yes. Yeah, organic farming is a method of marketing. And natural farming, yes, it's possible. But in today's world, when there are too many people, too many mouths and stomachs, we cannot solely depend on the natural farming. We have to adopt the right method of farming, where the nature doesn't hurt, where the nature doesn't get hurt severely. So in other words, instead of releasing carbon, it should fix carbon. Regenerative method of farming is closest to the natural farming. That's why I said the title of the webinar, low carbon farming.
Should be low carbon emissions farming. Okay. Tushar, there's one more question. I think it is related to this Jivamrit and Bijamrit thing that you said. Somebody is asked, Nilkant Chaudhary is asking, whether does it not lead to fungus?
Fungus where?
I think in the seeds.
Bijamrut, in fact, it stops fungus.
I see.
Right. If it is done properly, in fact, Bijamrut stops fungus. That's why you have 95% germination. If you go to the agriculture store, they have these seed bags, which is written 55%, 60%. So I saw, what is this percentage? Itne marks to humko bhi nahi milte. The bag ko kaise ka marks mil gaye? So that shop owner said, this is the company right that 60% of the seed will grow. Another 40% we will not take, because nowadays farmers are so educated, so they directly go to the court and they can sue the companies. So they first itself claim that only 60% of the seeds will grow. So we say if we do the Bijamrut, Bija Sanskar, then the 95% plus seeds will get germinated. In fact, that is to prevent the fungus.
Okay. There is a question from Rohit Rajora, whether aquaponics can be considered as a low carbon farming.
See, my problem is that, being an engineer, we study very little and get maximum mark. So I studied only SPNF. So aquaponics, permaculture. I have heard these words because they go by, but not gone into detail. I'm not authority to talk on that because I don't know what is that. Yeah, sir is there because.
Shekhar, maybe you want to answer that?
Yes. Now, many people may not be aware of what is aquaponics. Aquaponics is aquaculture and hydroponics, growing of something in like vegetables, for example, growing of vegetables in the same water. So there is a set of drums, and the water is recirculated. The fish are grown in the drum, in one of the drum, and fish excreta, which is urine and stools, they get translocated into second drum, third drum. But before that, they go to hydroponics vegetable tubs. So the stools and urine are created by fish and leftover food of the fish becomes feed or fertilizer or manure or nutrients for the plants. And the plants, this way, plants do that biological filtration. So the clearer water, the cleaner water comes back to the fish and the fish grow. So in a same set, it is the best utilization of nutrients, the energy, and you get both fish and vegetables and some fruit vegetable. Yes, it can be considered as a low carbon or carbon sequestering method of food production. Yes. There is very good work that has taken place in Israel about this. And another very best university for that is Alabama, who are doing a good amount of research in aquaponics. So you can go on a website of Alabama University and you can reach the aquaponics information.
Great, thank you. There are some people in the audience, like Mr. Ameya has shared about his own terrace farming, and there are some questions on terrace farming as to how much area is required for terrace farming. Is there any sort of benchmark?
See, my mother started terrace farming with the 1 pot of tulsi. That's how you start with it, you know. So anything you start growing, you get to the feel of that growing, then you can start increasing or multiplying. There is no, as far as in my case, like, you know, the society permission is very much vital. If you are living, if you are in bungalow, you have all your place to grow that. Some plants require shadow, some plants require sunny situation. So all you can grow. It's like, you know, no any area restrictions. It's your mind, it should be expanded.
Yeah, I think that even in a 2 feet balcony, you can do lots of things. So there is no restriction as long as you take care of the proper drainage, water, and all of that. And check all the plants whether they're getting all the things that they need. There's one more question specific to you, Tushar. It's on the process of SPNF. Is it same for every crop or is it different for different crops?
No, it's almost same. Only the distance between the two crops when you do the plantation, it will differ. That's how, like, and the mix and match will differ from crop to crop. But basically, Bijamrut, Jivamrut, Achhadan, Vapsa will remain the same conditions. Maybe, like, you know, see, if you have a leafy vegetable, so that plot, the raised bed plot will have a different way of Achhadan. And if you have a mango orchard or very like any fruit orchard, then you will have the different way of Achhadan because their girth is bigger and their foliage is different. So that is the only, the shape and will different. But basic principle, because that is how the way it grows from the forest, and that is where we are. Whenever you refer any TV or anything like, you know, any gadget, you refer a manual. So SPNF manual is a forest. So whatever happening in the forest, the same ecosystem we are developing. So we have to check we are doing the same what the nature is doing.
Thank you. I would like to take the permission of both the speakers to put your contact details because a lot of the participants are asking for it. So is that, would that be okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we will share it on the chat or we will share it on a PPT in a short while. And I think Shekhar, you would like to.
I wanted to make a little correction of myself. I said about this hydroponics and aquaponics information best in Israel and Alabama, but that's not it. There is a wonderful scientist, a consultant also, Mr. Pradeep Thakur. He is in Hyderabad, and he is ready to help anyone who has got 2 feet by 2 feet balcony with some sunlight. He is ready to help. Mr. Pradeep Thakur from Hyderabad can be a very good help for your audience, I think, who would be interested in getting information on aquaponics, hydroponics, and all that. Dr. Roshni, I will share his contact details in case if you like it later on.
Yes, please do that. I'm just sharing your details now. I think Tusharji has already shared his. So just let me, I put it on the chat for everybody.
I would also like, along with my telephone number, which you are going to share, I would like to share the telephone number of our office.
Yes.
And let me tell you this loudly right now. The telephone number of our office is 96. Wow. Searching. Two of our. Okay. 9673 02 7975. 9673 02 7975. And if you like, if you permit, Dr. Roshni, since we have a little time,
Yes.
we've got some interesting videos.
Please go ahead. You can show.
Yeah, we will show you what happens to the soil, to the motherly soil. As far as water infiltration is concerned, 3 small experiments. Please take a look. Experiments. We are going to show you how soil aggregation works in zero-till method of cultivation and what are the effects of water percolation in the soil or whether it flows away as a surface flow. In the first experiment, I'm going to show you two different soils. One clod on the left hand side is from SRT zero-till method of cultivation, where the soil was not plowed for 6 years. And on the right side, the clod is from the cultivated soil, conventionally cultivated soil, where the soil has been plowed and puddled for 2 times a year. And see what happens. We have taken 2 clods and put in the water with the sieve, and you can see on the left hand side jar, the soil is not falling apart, whereas the soil is falling apart on the right hand side, which is a tilled soil. So the capacity of the soil to hold on when the first rain come, and whether that soil should flow away in the flood or it should hold on. In the second experiment, I'm going to show you what happens about the surface flow when the artificial rain falls on that particular soil. Now this is the soil from tilled field, which is plowed and all that conventionally. And in the second case, we are going to take soil from the zero-till SRT method of field. Now here what you see is we have taken 2 plastic boxes, and in these 2 plastic boxes, the bottom is removed where the sieve is fitted into the bottom of that particular box. And we have put on the left hand side, this is the zero-till soil, and on the right hand side, it is the conventionally tilled soil. The artificial measured quantity of water is fallen in the form of rain on both the boxes, and on the left hand side you can see where the water is going. The water is getting absorbed into the soil, and excess water goes at the bottom of the box, collected in the second box, whereas on the right hand side box, all the water is flowing in the form of surface flow, and it is coming in the front jar. It is getting collected. In the third experiment, I'm going to show you what happens when the water in the form of rain falls on the soil, how it percolates, and whether it percolates, what quantity it percolates. Now we have taken a plastic pipe, and it is fitted into the conventional soil, conventional field, and we are pouring 2 liters of water in this particular plastic container, and we are measuring the time, how long it takes to percolate 2 liters of soil in situ, in that field. How long does it take to percolate completely? And you can see we are checking the time, and after 1 hour, so much of water is already left. Whereas this is a field which is zero-till field, SRT field, where no tilling was done for 6 years. Now here we are fitting this pipe in the same manner, and we are also pouring 2 liters of water in the same fashion in this particular field. Now you can see this pipe is fitted, and we will pour 2 liters of water and measure the time. And let's wait and see what happens to that water and how long it takes. And within minutes, as you can see, we are putting the timer, and now you can see within 25 minutes this is what happens to the water. All the water is gone, it's all percolated. So on the left hand side it is a conventional method where the water remains, so much water remains after 1 hour, and on the right hand side it is a SRT zero till method where within 25 minutes all the water gets absorbed into the soil. I'm going to show you one video about our observation to the treated hill, how SVT is useful in this video. Okay.
नमस्कार मंडळी, आज 6 जानेवारी 2020 आहे आणि आज रोजी नेरळ येथील एका डोंगराला इथे वणवा लागलाय. समोर तुम्हाला दिसत असेल की केवढ्या मोठ्या आगीच्या ज्वाळा आहेत आणि सगळीकडे धूर झालेला आहे. आणि त्याच्याच बाजूला इथे बघा, या ठिकाणी एसबीटी तंत्राने या डोंगराला प्रोटेक्शन दिलं होतं आणि ह्या डोंगराच्या डाव्या बाजूला तुम्हाला दिसतंय की सगळा जळतोय, पण इकडे एकही स्क्वेअर मीटर जागा जळालेली नाहीये, कारण इथे एसबीटी तंत्राची ट्रीटमेंट दिली होती आणि त्याच्यामध्ये वणवा थांबवण्याची क्षमता आहे. मी तुम्हाला दिसू शकेल इथे समोर या प्लास्टिकच्या स्लीव लावल्यात, त्याच्यामध्ये ही झाडं सुद्धा आहेत. करवंदीचं झाड तुम्हाला दिसतंय याच्यामध्ये. तर अशा प्रकारे इथे हे एसबीटी तंत्र ह्या म्हणजे माणसाने न जाता तिथे आग विझवण्यासाठी माणसाची गरज नाही. हे बघा की किती भयानक हा वणवा आहे. जवळ 200-250 एकर जागा इथली ही संपूर्ण आता जळून गेलेली आहे आणि इकडे जवळ 200-250 एकर पूर्ण जागा ही वाचलेली आहे, जळाली नाहीये. तर इथली सगळी आता तुम्हाला दिसेल की ह्याच्यामध्ये असणारे सगळे काही प्राणी असतील, पक्षी असतील, त्यांची घरटी असतील, सगळे जळून खाक झाले. पण त्याच्याच बाजूला इथे सगळं आता जे असणारे काही ससे असतील, प्राणी असतील, पक्षी असतील, त्यांची घरटी असतील, हे सगळे इथे सुरक्षित राहणार आहे. तर ह्या अशा परिस्थितीमध्ये एसबीटी तंत्र हे अतिशय सिद्ध झालेलं असं तंत्रज्ञान आहे, असं हे तुम्हाला इथे दिसेल.
So we will show you one more little film, short film, where what happens after the fire. So once the fire takes place, then the rain comes, and this is what happens. This is another observation.
हिरवे हिरवे गाल गालीचे हिरवं लसलुशीत गवत आहे जिकडे तिकडे, इतकं सुंदर दिसतंय. पण त्या सौंदर्याच्या पाठीमागे एक 4 महिन्यापूर्वी इथे भयानक वणवा लागून गेलेला होता आणि त्या भयानक वणव्यामुळे जे घडलंय ते तुम्ही समजून घ्या. हे सगळं गवत आहे ना, हे सगळं गवत जवळजवळ 95% गवत हे एकाच प्रकारचं आहे, मोनोकल्चर. ह्याचं कारण वणव्यामुळे बाकीची सगळी बायोडायव्हर्सिटी, जैवविविधता मरून गेली. हे सागाचं झाड हे सुद्धा खुरटं आहे, खुज आहे, त्याचं झुडूप झालंय. त्याचं झाड वृक्ष व्हायला पाहिजे होता. एसव्हीटीच्या ट्रीटमेंटमुळे हा भाग जळाला नाही. त्यामुळे हे मागच्या वर्षीचं जे गवत आहे, हे गवत सगळं जसंच्या तसं इंटॅक्ट राहिलं. इथे आपल्याला गवतांची सुद्धा विविधता दिसते. तर ह्या गवताच्या खाली काय आहे, काही विशेष वेगळं काही आहे का, आपल्याला बघूया. हे बघा, ह्याच्या खाली एक चांगलं जीवन काहीतरी तयार होताना दिसतंय. दिसते का पांढरी पांढरी बारीकशी, ही बघा व्हाईट क्रब आहे. हा आणखीन काही वेगळाच आहे. गांडूळ पण आहे. गांडुळांची संख्या सुद्धा भरपूर आहे. फार सुंदर आहे. हा सुगंध, ही जैवविविधता, वनस्पतीची जैवविविधता, कीटक, गांडूळ, छान गोष्ट घडलेली आहे. फक्त इथे वणवा लागला नाही त्यामुळे. हा पट्टा आहे एसव्हीटीचा, म्हणजे फायर लाईन आहे. गेल्या वर्षी इथे जे ह्या पट्ट्यामध्ये जे गवत होतं ते आपण तणनाशकाच्या साह्याने मारून टाकलं. त्यामुळे हा जसा एक पट्टा आहे तसा खालच्या बाजूला एक पट्टा आहे, असे सगळ्या पट्ट्यांचं ग्रीड तयार केलंय. आणि त्यामुळे मुळामध्ये त्या बाजूने येणारा जो वणवा आहे तो इकडे ह्या बाजूला आलाच नाही. आणि वणवा इकडे आला नाही त्यामुळे बघा या झाडावर तुम्हाला तेज दिसतंय. खैराचं झाड आहे, काय छान त्याची नवीन पालवी, सुंदर त्याची ग्रोथ आहे. तसा खैर आहे तसं इथे तुम्हाला हे टेंभरूणचं झाड दिसतंय केवढं मोठं झालेलं. त्याला बिलकुल गेले 3 वर्ष या झाडांना वणव्याची झळ लागलेली नाही.
एखाद्या झाडावर जेव्हा उन्हाळ्याचा झळ बसतोय तर ते 3 वर्षे झाड खाली येते, म्हणजे त्यांचं 3 वर्षाचं आयुष्य मागे सरतंय आणि त्यांना ते झाड पुरत व्हायला 3 वर्षाचा वाट पाहावी लागते. असं जर सलग जेव्हा वणवे लागतात त्यावेळेस ते आस्ते आस्ते त्याची उंची कमी 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 होते, झाड आपोआपच नष्ट होते. अशाने सलग जर 4 ते 5 वर्ष जर वणवा एखाद्या जंगलात लागत असेल तर ते पूर्ण जंगल नष्ट होतं आणि आपण मोठमोठाली झाडं पाहिलेत, लहान झुडपं तर वाचतच नाहीत.
आपण त्या बाजूला पाहिलं वणवा लागला नव्हता. इथे मात्र गेले 15-20 वर्ष दरवर्षी वणवा लागतो. वणवा लागल्यामुळे तिथे गेल्या वर्षीचं जे गवत वाढलं होतं त्याचा अंश सुद्धा नाही. त्यामुळे ते गवत नाही, कुजणारे पदार्थ नाहीत. त्यामुळे अर्थातच इथे जीवन सुरू होण्याला काही पर्याय दिसत नाही. खडे, दगड अशा प्रकारचा आवाज आहे. आपण हे खणलंय आणि आता ह्याच्यामध्ये बघूया काही दिसतंय का. गांडूळ तर लांब राहिले. आणि खडपण
I think we okay. All right. I'm just going to share this with everybody on the screen. So yeah, I think it has been a wonderful session. Both from Shekharji and Tusharji have given us a wonderful presentation. Just before, I don't see many more questions. There are lots of suggestions, and I wanted to share your numbers with the rest, with the people, with the participants, because they have been asking for this. And just before we close, there was a sort of a message that I would like you to give. Basically, anybody who wants to go or wants to do farming, let me just see, there are some questions now. Those who want to do any kind of farming, or those who are already farmers. It's not that simple. Firstly, you talked about, Tushar, you talked about the zero budget natural farming, and Shekharji, you talked about such low methods, low investment techniques and so on. But what are the things that one should consider? What is the initial investment like? I know that you say zero budget, but I know you may require some things at least, like maybe you require a desi guy or something like that, as you say. So what are the aspects that one should consider, whether you are a farmer living in a village or you are an urban farmer, want to become want to somehow do farming? What are the things that one should think of? Would you be able to share something, or would you be able to share with our participants today?
Yeah. Sir, me bolto adi. Basically, see, basic requirement, you require a land. If you don't have a land, then for all the urbanites who are here, for them the window grill is the option. We've got lots of architects here. They can redesign their windows so that it can accommodate more of this. Only this, nowadays societies are very tough on their paints. So, but now you have a special designed, like, self-watering pots are also available. So for the urbanite, this is not. But if you're going for a farming, the first basic thing, you should have a land. Now, buying a land, yes, if you have got lots of money, then you should explore properly. You should see that. So basically, I always tell, having a proper land, you should have a good water resource, and secondly, good human resource around. Because that is two difficult thing which you have when you run the farm. Getting a cow is nowadays very easy. Like, I just give a call to a good friend and you will get the cow. So we have lots of network. We have dealing with the desi cows. Or to begin with, if you don't have a cow, like, just go around your farm. You will find someone having it. You can take a dung and urine, cow urine from them, and this is how you can start with. So it's not that you are the buying of having a cow is stopping you. Really, you can adopt a cow rather, because nowadays farmers are having little difficulty because there was lots of drought last year, and now this year there is a pandemic, so they have no good sale through the market. There are lots of restrictions on transportation and all that. So you can adopt a cow from that cow. So that is starting for that. For other things, like, as I said, is just starting is very important. Not a big investment is required except the land portion. And land also, if you start nowadays, if you declare today that I attended Shekhar sir's and Tushar's seminar about farming, then your friends will start asking, "Arey, kya sikha?" And ultimately they will say, "My land is there. How about, can you do something about that?" And this is something will happen. The miracle happens. I have seen many times. I told people, and they within 8 hours they get a land. Someone friend says, like, I cannot take care of land. Would you like to do that? So like that, initially they can have some tie-up. They can learn this, because working on the air-conditioned atmosphere and working in the farm is very two different tasks. And so you need to take up some, or you can go to the Saguna Bagh and do some internship under Shekharji. Shekharji कडे भरपूर जागा आहे, तिकडे तुम्ही थोडी जागा मागून घ्या, सांगा मी ते शिकतो. So that can be a learning plot. Even I got a farm at Murbad. They can come and do some farming if required. But as anything, like, as we educate, like, you are a doctorate, so it takes almost 7 to 20 years to become a doctor. So even BSc requires 15 years of education. So at least take 15 weeks of education, then you are getting farmer. So that is a big profession, the oldest profession in the world. So learn something and then jump. Buying a land because just you have money, that doesn't make it. Thank you.
Shekharji, would you like to add anything?
Yes, of course. It's a wonderful question. But I also would like to point to, there are two interesting questions, one by Rujuta Salekar and another by Ramila, when it comes to balcony garden, how to keep the soil alive. So both those questions also I would like to answer, but yes, I will answer your question first. Immediately you asked, I consulted Parshuram and I consulted Anil, so the answer goes together. What Tushar rightly said, what you need is a mindset. You have to give time along with mind, and once you have that, total dedication, the
the technology like SRT is so easy now. It will only give you happiness. All you have to do just get at it persistently for just few days, and you will learn everything by yourself. It's so easy. The nature is there to help you. It will help you. It will help you to make you happy. It will give you food, and you will see changes. Your mind will be very strong. Everything will be fantastic. But you have to give first time with your mind, and that's the beginning. If you make the right beginning, we will handhold you after that. And you don't have to come to Saguna Bagh for that. You are welcome, but you don't have to take all the trouble. We will teach you. We have been teaching people through this YouTube and all that. So we'll teach you on that. Is that a good enough answer, Dr. Roshni?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let me answer. एक प्रश्न असा आहे, रुजुता सालेकर विचारतात की आमच्या गावी मुद्दाम वणवा लावला जातो. The fire, the wildfire, the forest fire is lit purposely, thinking that once it is lit, when there is fire on the mountain, the grass that comes in the next rainy season is the good quality. Yeah, many people believe that. And all the forest fires and all the wildfires, they're all lit by people. This is one of the reasons, but this is not a major reason. There are other reasons, like they want to do hunting, they want to make it easy to pick the mahua flowers, they want to steal something from the forest and all that. But this is one of the reasons that people believe that the quality of grass will be better. प्रश्न मला मराठीत विचारला आणि उत्तर मी इंग्लिश मधनं देतोय, हे मला आवडत नाहीये म्हणजे, लेकिन हाँ, अरे मैं हिंदी भी बात कर सकता हूँ. तो बराबर, ये प्रश्न बहुत बहुत बढ़िया सही प्रश्न है लोगों के, लेकिन वो सच नहीं है. After the fire, the biodiversity dies, and as soon as biodiversity dies, everything starts dying. So forest fires are always bad. In any case, they are terrible. They are very bad. तो हम अभी देखा है कि जैसे ही फायर लगना बंद होता है, वनवा लगना बंद होता है, वैसे ही अलग अलग प्रकार की घास उगती है. वो आंखों को दिखाई देने में शुरू में अच्छा नहीं दिखता, लेकिन वो अगर एनिमल खा लेता है, तो जैसे कि एक बंदा खाली गेहूं की रोटी खा रहा है और दूसरा बंदा गेहूं की रोटी के साथ चटनी, अचार, सैलड और सब्जी भी खा रहा है, तो नेचुरली दिस इज मोर न्यूट्रिशियस. सो बायोडाइवर्सिटी इज मोर न्यूट्रिशियस फॉर द ग्रासेस. सो वनवा बहुत बुरा है, उससे अच्छा नहीं होता है, लेकिन ये लोगों को समझाना बहुत मुश्किल है, डिफिकल्ट है. तो ये तरीका, मतलब लोगों को समझाना और फायर को रोकना, ये आप बात भूल जाइए. यू नीड अ रेडिकल चेंज, यू नीड अ रेडिकल अप्रोच, जैसे कि SVT. और SVT इज अ वंडरफुल वे. बहुत सारे साइंटिस्ट आकर ये देख कर गए. अभी ये एक हमारे वेबिनार में एक ज्वाइन हुए हैं, डॉक्टर सुगंधा शेट्टे. शी इज फ्रॉम she's heading the environment department of Somaya University, और उनके साथ मिशिगन स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटी ईस्ट लांसिंग भी काम करने जा रहे हैं, और ये वनवा के बारे में हम सब लोग साथ में काम करने वाले हैं. there is one doctor
सुगंधा मैडम SPNF च्या पण चळवळीच्या कार्यकर्ते आहेत.
Yeah, there is another scientist, Dr. BG Desai from Konkan Krishi Vidyapit. He is also attending the webinar right from the beginning. And in fact, we have already started work at the farms of Dr. BG Desai, who is in charge of Asia's biggest mango orchard of Konkan Krishi Vidyapit. And we will be working together with Konkan Krishi Vidyapit along with Michigan State University and Somaya University. So some scientific validation and research work is also likely to take place. So वनवा जो है वो बुरी बात ही है, और उसके लिए बहुत अच्छा पर्याय है, that is SVT. जो दूसरा प्रश्न था कि टेरेस गार्डन में पॉट कल्चर में क्या प्रश्न था?
सॉइल के बारे में।
हाँ, सॉइल के बारे में। सॉइल में क्या
How
कार्बन?
to keep soil live?
हाँ, live. How to keep the soil live? Wonderful question, beautiful question. Yeah, वहाँ भी आप जो भी फसल लेते हैं, जैसे मिर्ची लगाई, मिर्ची का प्रोडक्शन खत्म हो गया, तो मिर्ची का ऊपर का पौधा काट दो, लेकिन उसके जो जड़ है उसको वहीं के वहीं रख दो, और उसको नहीं स्प्राउट होने के लिए, क्योंकि वो मिर्ची का पौधा जो है वो फिर से स्प्राउट हो सकता है, उसको नहीं स्प्राउट होने के लिए कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा, वो उसका एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन वर्क कुछ तो हमें करना पड़ेगा, आई डोंट नो, बट डोंट रिमूव दैट सॉइल, डोंट चेंज द सॉइल एंड ऑल दैट, लीव दैट सॉइल अगेन, उसमें हर रोज थोड़ा थोड़ा ऑर्गेनिक मैटर डालते रहना। और एक छोटी सी बात, छाछ, ताक, बटर मिल्क जो हम घर में लेते हैं, लस्सी नहीं, छाछ, ताक या बटर मिल्क जो थिन होता है, 1 चम्मच ताक आप आपकी जो पॉट है उसमें हर 2-4 दिन के बाद 1 चम्मच ताक थोड़ा सा पानी में घोल के, मतलब 100 ml ऑफ वाटर, अप्रोक्सीमेटली 1 कप, 100 to 200 ml ऑफ वाटर, 1 चम्मच ताक उसको घोल कर वो पानी दे दो 2-3 दिन के बाद, so that will keep the pot soil alive, and also keep putting some organic waste from your home, जैसे कि धनिया लाया, मतलब कोरिएंडर, मुझे क्या मराठी में, कोथिंबीर, उसके जड़ जो है वो काट कर आप फेंक देते हैं, उसके जड़ काट कर वो जो आपका पॉट है वो पॉट के जो मिट्टी है उसको ढक दो, आच्छादन, जो तुषार भाई ने बताया आपको आच्छादन, उसका आच्छादन कर दो, और उसके ऊपर 1 चम्मच तक 200 ml पानी, 200, हाँ लेकिन 200 ml पानी आप बम्बई के नल का मत ले लो, उसमें क्लोरीन है so don't put chlorinated water. Yeah, avoid putting chlorinated water. That is, I just thought of it. If you put chlorinated water to your pots, it will kill the life, it will kill your soil. Avoid putting chlorinated. Keep the water in a bucket, keep on stirring couple of times in a day, keep it for 2-3 days, use that water for giving your plants. That will make your soil alive. So these are some of the tips you can adopt.
Thank you.
I don't know if there are more questions.
I think there are a lot of thanks to both the speakers, and that is what even I would like to say. There is something about I think that's an answer that Tushar has given, so that's fine.
No, there was a question by Nami.
Yes.
What multi-crops can be added? So I just.
Okay. So that's great. I think I've shared both your numbers with the participants as well. So thank you so much, both of you. It's been a very, very interesting session. We've never had so many participants wait till the very end to listen to everything. I want to thank both of you on behalf of IAR, and now I will hand over to Prajakta.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank Mr. Shekhar Bharsavale and Mr. Tushar Desai on behalf of the Institute for presenting your work on this platform with all our participants. Thank you, Roshni ma'am, for summing this beautifully for us. Our next webinar will be conducted on 26th of September at 4 p.m. We are starting with a series of sessions with a short training at the end on indoor air quality. Also, the poster is being shared on our screen with the details on the sessions for indoor air quality. We would like to thank all who are a part of our virtual family on Instagram and Facebook and are making us stronger with your support. If you aren't yet a part, do follow our Instagram and Facebook page for further updates. The link to join our pages have been posted in the chat window. Also subscribe to our YouTube page and do check our past webinars. We have covered 9 webinars till now on varied topics, so do check them. We would also be announcing our short certificate courses very soon, so stay tuned with our page. And thank you all for joining today. Take care and stay safe. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prajakta, even we should fill the form.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you all the participants. Thank you.